Hey everybody, so here we go, our first live review for 2025, and it's a good one. Those of you who've been tuning into the podcast know we've been busy, but we still have time to go catch some of the new releases coming up. And tonight we just got out of a preview screening for, a global icon, global treasure. That's Jason Statham in Working
Working Man.
Man.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a scale for movies we
Yeah.
watch. There's a scale for stupidity. And what we just saw was made by a unhinged man. We watched, I think we were just talking about it. I think the best way I can describe it is the most predictable plot ever that somehow becomes the most unpredictable thing you'll ever see.
It's directed by David Ayer, who, as Sebastian just said, is he's a bit of a, and I say this with respect because he is a talented guy, and he's made some good movies.
Fury is
Fury,
fantastic. It's his best movie, I
best
think.
one of the most interesting World War II movies of the last decade. He did also, and To Watch, which is I would say one of the best cop movies also of the last decade. Uh, but after Suicide Squad in 2016, he's been a bit off the rails. I mean, he was always off the rails, but in terms of the quality of his content, he's really just focused on making B level trashy stuff. And again, it's not to say it in a disparaging way. It's literally the genre. A lot of kind of B
You
drive-in trashy things.
you have to understand something when it comes to movies. They're movies that try to be serious action movies that just fail spectacularly. Their stupidity comes from a lack of self awareness, like
Yeah.
Expendables 4.
Oh, that one's just
Then there are movies
terrible.
like uh, Bad Boys Ride or Die or Bad Boys for Life, where the directors clearly just want to make a fun action movie and not do anything too much more. And it's fun, it's silly. And then you have something like this, which is just so on a different scale of like literally a direct to video VHS 80s action slog that is so ridiculous.
I
It's
mean,
almost
Unhinged.
hard to
Yeah.
compare it to other movies. In fact, it's very rare for me to laugh at a movie intentionally, but there was a stretch of maybe 5 minutes that not only was I laughing, I was crying because of how funny it was.
Oh,
Unintentionally hilarious.
well, let's call a spade a spade. This was trash, but walking out of the movie, it's almost like, how do you rate it though? Because it
Well, we're
is,
energized. We
yeah.
walked out, we were like, holy shit.
Well, here's the thing. Like the movie Statham and Ayer did last year, Beekeeper, you're conscious you're watching something absolutely bonkers and ridiculous, but it's never boring. There's a manic, off the
Unhinged.
rails energy to
We
it.
use the word unhinged
Yeah.
in the most pure form of
Yes.
it. I was
It's all
walked
over the
in.
place. There's the Taken plot angle where a girl gets kidnapped. So Jason Statham is called in by her father, who's played by Michael Pena, an heir, a regular who owns a construction business, who knows that Statham's character used to be in the military in England, and asks if he can go, of course, rescue his daughter because hey, there's no point in calling the cops, right? So,
That's
so
right.
he gives him a stack of cash, like stacks of cash,
Bricks. We're talking bricks
bricks
here.
to go find who kidnapped his daughter. And then it just turns into a hodgepodge of Russian gangsters,
Oh,
biker gangs.
the most
I mean,
ridiculous stereotypes ever. Set design that just like
oh,
when I mean like shit doesn't make sense. As in, we have a Gotham, we have like a Batman the animated series Gotham
Moon.
Moon. But you know what? I love shit like that. I
Yeah.
walked out saying that I think this is the Mount Olympus of trash because it's so crazy. They just have like I don't even know if I would call it. Is it racist? I don't even know what
No, no,
what
no,
it
no. I,
is.
I wouldn't say so much racist as in having fun with stereotypes, but in a non, let's say in a non racist, there's no malice to it. It's more like these are the kinds of characters you expect in an
It
absurd action movie, kind of like the the East LA lowrider guys, Michael Bay used an ambulance,
Oh my
right?
god.
Another great. Actually, this one though makes ambulance look like
Oh my
a
god.
Truffaut film or something.
I mean, I'll say
Yeah,
that Ambulance is a straight up experimental art house film.
yeah, yeah. Especially in comparison
Not
to this.
even a joke. But I mean, there's like a biker gang where a guy sits on like a Game of Thrones like Iron Throne, but made out of mufflers and
And he packs a giant weapon, and it's a really
oh the
what
goons.
there's like they look like they walked out of a Berlin rave, but they're supposed to be Russian gangsters, and another Russian gangster, Dimi, looks like he just was not cast as Rasputin in something, so they threw him in this, and
He's
you know,
heroin Rasputin.
yeah, like it's and it stays cohesive in a silly way despite going all over the place. The plot is actually very easy to follow, but it's almost like a circus of cliche after cliche after cliche, but shot in that crazy David Ayer style. And if you've seen his movies, again, we're talking Tax Collector, Suicide Squad. What's the one with the one from Netflix, the
Bright.
Bright, an infamous movie. Uh, Totally trash when it came out. You get all of that. You get that kind of energy all through this movie, with a screenplay co-written with Sylvester Stallone. So Sylvester Stallone's infamous dialogue is all over
And
this
you
movie.
know what stuff he wrote because anytime you're waiting for a cheesy one liner, you
Yeah,
just get like dog shit.
yeah. Oh, the most blandest one-liners ever. They're not even worthy of being quoted on an Instagram story. But none of it was born. Again, it's done with such self-conscious glee that you don't know whether to give it a thumbs down or kind of say, hey, look, if this is your kind of movie, like if you're into this kind of movie, you're gonna have a good time,
I'm
basically.
almost tempted. I think David Ayer may or may not just like when Michael Bay released Ambulance, he created a whole new category of films that I still use to this day.
Yeah.
I David Ayer may or may not have created a new category for me
Yeah. Well,
called
maybe.
the Mount Olympus of trash because this is it's so bad it's good but excuse me but it's the best version of all of that. I mean, it may be. We'll see at the end of the year, but this was just
Well, it kind of reminds me of Roger Ebert's review of The Mummy back in 1999, and The Mummy is still an infinitely better movie overall. But Ebert famously wrote, he said that sometimes you have to like you got to give decent trash its due, and he talked about how, okay, this isn't Lawrence of Arabia, but it's got a killer mummy and critters and
great
haunted tooth,
score,
great story. He's like, you know what,
great
he's
one liners.
exactly, and he ends the review by saying, great trash it isn't, good trash it is. So I think you almost have to apply that logic to this kind of movie where it's not pretending to be anything other than what it actually
And I
is.
do want to make a distinction because when we talked about Bad Boys Ride or Die, like those are legitimately fun action movies
Yeah,
that always straddles that line, right? Where it puts just enough where you get a little bit of heart in there, but they're actually trying to make really stylized action that just like makes you go, wow, that's actually pretty cool. This is not that. This is just like let's see what we can get away with.
this one, this kind of movie is almost like compared to something like Bad Boys Ride or Die. This one's almost like low grade punk in a way. It's almost got like a scruffy, I don't give a shit kind of attitude. Even in the costumes,
Oh my god.
sometimes the bad guys are wearing stuff that you wonder if they just someone like if someone just brought it from their closet that day to set. Like, here, man, you want a leather jacket? I've got this
You know what's crazy to
shiny
me?
one.
we talked about The Crow last year,
Yeah.
which I didn't hate. I didn't hate. It's not great, but you know what? After seeing this, David Ayer should have directed The Crow
Yes. Oh
because
man,
that
yeah.
kind of manic, unhinged energy is absolutely perfect for that material.
It's what that movie needed more of. Because this one again, it's almost like a no holes barred on a lot of things. There's a scene with one of the main villains near the end where I mean the guy's dressed in like one of
Like the
the
like the Bela Lugosi, basically.
yes, top hat, cape. I mean, and you wonder. I mean, did was that just slapped together at the last minute on set? And part of you thinks that's so silly, and then part of you thinks, hey, but you know what? For this kind of movie, there's probably the fun of making one of these. Uh,
Well, that
it's
whole
yeah,
casino not explained at all. It's like
yeah.
this movie supposedly takes place in Chicago, but then they're in a swamp with like a rundown house that's an underground. Nothing explained.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't
It's
need to
like,
know. It's
it,
just there so Jason Statham blows holes in people
oh,
and they go flying.
oh, the last act features that signature David Ayer violence that's just so so unhinged and graphic and nuts. Actually, for most of the movie, the violence it's it's entertaining in that revenge movie way, but it was compared to other stuff Ayer's done has done. It was kind of tame
It's
and
like Tarantino violence, right?
yeah,
Where you're having fun with it.
yeah.
It's like it's explosive, but
Uh,
it's not like Saw where you're like,
Exactly. And I was wondering for most of the way, gee, David's really kind of calmed down. He's really chilled out a bit on the gore. And then in the third act, he lets it rip and you you get you get that David Ayer touch where faces are scraped, people get blown to bits with a giant silly moon in the background. And Jason Statham, he's the working man in this one.
he's a working
He's
man.
a working
That's
man,
gonna
and
be my new that the running joke. And also, honestly, our theater was just so much fun. It's
yeah.
one of those kind of like when we saw the Meg 2, where once the theater got it, what movie they were actually watching,
Oh yeah.
the whole experience changed for everyone.
Well, yeah, this movie's really fun to watch collectively with other people because that creates the mood. It really these are meant almost to be seen with a crowd, and to pull energy from the movie, and then the audience throws energy back at the thing.
Exactly.
It's quite something. Uh, so Working Man, Jason Statham, David opens this Friday. Uh, if you're into this kind of movie, you won't be disappointed. It throws its punches. It takes names. Uh, so that's our first, live one for 2025. Check out our tribute to David Lynch, which is now available on all our outlets on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can check out our tribute to one of the greats who recently passed away. We've got a lot of other great stuff coming up, special episodes, two special interviews, which we'll keep secret right now, but we're going to be sitting down with some special guests, two really, really cool artists from different disciplines. So we're not going to tell you what we're going to talk with them about, but let's just say it'll be more than worth the wait. So remember to like us, subscribe, leave your comments, and remember to visit purestmushrooms.com to get that 10% discount from any individual packets you purchase with our Breaking 180 code. Um, well,
Well, until then, keep thinking critically and enjoy movies where the working man's gonna come and get you.
free Khalil.
Peace.